Hey guys, welcome back to some more videos. I mainly wanted to get on here and just vent for a little bit because I haven't done a wrestling video in quite some time, and I haven't covered wrestling in a minute. It's been a long time since I've talked about wrestling, and so I just figured that it would be easier for me to get on here and just sort of turn the camera on and vent and just talk about what's going on right now, because wrestling, ever since I've done my last video covering WWE, I can't even remember which one it was. I know I did a video talking about the state of the IC championship. I know I did one like the state of AEW and WWE. I did that one. A lot has changed since then. A lot of things have happened. There's been a lot of pay-per-views. I haven't seen every single one, but I've been trying to keep up with pay-per-views, been trying to keep things, up to date. I started watching AAA show, the Worlds Collide show. I liked it so far. Got to finish that one still, as well as Evolution. I got to finish that one too. I just wanted to get on here and vent for a little bit and talk about, I don't understand the mindset of wrestling fans right now. I really don't. And this is not to say that anybody that has a differing opinion from me is wrong. This is not to say that if you love WWE, if you love where they're at right now, if you love the TNA stuff, if you love the AAA crossover stuff, if you love it, you're wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to sit here and say you shouldn't have your own opinion. You should. Everybody out there has the right to have their own opinion. I'm a firm believer of that. I just think that wrestling fans, and it's always out of nowhere, there's always, it never fails. It never fails with wrestling fans where there will be a year where fans complain about things, and then 2 years down the line, everything they complained about, they are fine with now. And they're not complaining about these things anymore, especially if it's going on with WWE and not AEW. Now, if AEW is doing it, there's a problem with it. If WWE is doing it, it's untouchable. You can't talk about it. You can't talk about hating on it. You can't talk about criticisms, none of that. WWE is in a state right now, and again, if you're a fan of the product, that's fine. Where my problem is that there have been plenty of times in the past that people would watch WWE and complain and moan and groan and list off hundreds of problems they had with that show. And we're just so gung-ho about just calling out everything with WWE. Now that WWE is cool again, now that everybody is a WWE fan now it's cool to be a WWE fan, everybody's like, we're going to ignore those things, but if any other company does them, especially AEW, and am I an AEW fan? Not really. I just don't watch it. I've tried so many times to watch AEW, and I just can't. It's just not for me. I tried, and it's less about the story, more about the wrestling. And for the most part, I think AEW has pretty good wrestling matches. They're a bit more of the spotty, popcorn, less logic, more action type of style, but it's not always bad. There's times where that works really, really well. There are times where it doesn't, though. And it's not easy to watch AEW because you got to keep up with stuff on HBO Max, which I heard now they're like cutting programs early and like cutting them off and stuff, which I guess Peacock is doing that now at WWE because they did it with Goldberg. But with AEW, you got to keep up with all that stuff on HBO, and then you got to pay for the pay-per-views separately. And to me, it's like, it's hard to keep invested in AEW and then also pay the $50 for the pay-per-view. And I've done it a couple times. I think I paid for Worlds Collide 2023, and I think I paid for a Forbidden Door from one of those years, and then maybe a Double or Nothing. Maybe? or All Out or something like that. I can't remember. But there were a few things. There were a few times I paid for the pay-per-views. And even though they were fun shows, they didn't make me go, oh my God, I got to go buy the AEW pay-per-view. I got to go get another one. But mainly I just wanted to watch the replays of them on HBO. Because they got them on there. Only thing is, again, the library is not very vast on HBO Max. They don't have a lot of stuff on there. They have a lot of missing shows, missing years. So, ironically, most of it is when CM Punk was there. I feel like they don't want to pay him royalties, so they're just gonna not put him on streaming. But I'm going off track. This is gonna be a video with a lot of talking, but. Again, these WWE fans, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm rambling on about, TNA and WWE not too long ago had a deal where they came together, and WWE didn't purchase TNA. They are working with them. They are taking talent over to NXT and WWE, and WWE guys are going to go to TNA. Now, when I first heard about this, I was a bit excited. I was curious. I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is something a little different. Okay. They didn't buy TNA outright. They didn't. And so I took that as a sign of, okay, this is possibly a good thing. Because you could get guys from TNA coming to WWE, WWE going to TNA. It could be a fun thing. It's just, to me, and again, this is something I'm not a fan of in wrestling. Even though it may sound cool on paper, it's really never worked. I really can't think of a time where two companies merged together and worked together and it ended up being fair. It ended up working. It ended up benefiting both parties equally. I've never heard of that. Every time the companies or whatever wrestling companies do that, it ends up being messy. It ends up being convoluted as hell. And it ends up being hard to follow. And it makes it harder on the audience who's trying to watch a show. And then some random guy comes in from whatever wrestling company. And the commentators are spending 10 minutes. You got to care about this guy. You should love this guy because he's from Ring of Honor. And if you don't know that, then you suck. They don't literally say that, but that's what it feels like sometimes. I'm like, who the hell is that? Oh, that's this guy from New Japan. I'm like, all right. Why is he here? Because shouldn't you love it? Shouldn't you care about it? He's going to go and face this guy. This is on Monday Night Raw. Love it. And I'm like, no, there was no build to this. There was no reason for this. Why did this happen? And for a long time, that was my problem with AEW. AEW did that all the time. All the time. Where they would have guys come in from Ring of Honor and do things randomly, seemingly for no reason at times. And then they would have guys go to Ring of Honor, mainly the guys they're not using. And then Ring of Honor guys would get beat by AEW guys to boost them. Now, I will say this. Did AEW do it the wrong way as far as using other companies to benefit themselves? Yes, they did. They did it the wrong way. As far as when... the way I said it doesn't make sense. They did it the right way, technically, if they went and benefited themselves from using companies. What I meant to say was AEW did the whole merging thing, merging creatively, using talents from other companies. They did it the wrong way, where they brung in TNA and pretty much took all their talent and took their belts and almost killed TNA. They took in New Japan and took all their guys and a lot of their belts and are killing New Japan. So... they took in Ring of Honor and made Ring of Honor not grow from where it was. Ring of Honor was in a real tough place, and they pretty much just took it and they put in a pocket dimension. They were like, you're over here. You're an honor club. You're over here. We're going to use our guys against you to get them over, and good luck getting over on AEW guys. So I'm not a fan of what AEW did with the companies. I thought they totally just literally tried to drain the life essence from other companies to give to themselves. And it wasn't right. And a lot of people at the time were saying the exact same things that they are now. Oh, this is exciting. This is different. this is cool. Think about it. You can have AEW guys versus Ring of Honor guys. And for like a year or two, people were in love with that. And we're putting it over and, oh my God, this is fantastic. And look what happened. TNA almost died. Ring of Honor is now trapped in the ether of AEW, where half the people in Ring of Honor who end up being Ring of Honor champions either defend their titles on AEW TV or are AEW guys from Dynamite winning Ring of Honor titles. Isn't Dustin Rhodes, isn't he the Ring of Honor champion right now or something? Or tag, I don't know. He's a champion, right? He's an AEW guy. At least last time I checked. Maybe he's a Ring of Honor guy now. I don't know. I don't keep up with AEW, so, calm down if I'm getting things wrong about AEW, because I haven't watched them in a long time. But my point is, at the time that happened, there were people saying the exact same things they are now. This is going to be great for the wrestling business. They're saving companies, blase, blase. And then eventually people realized, oh shit, they are actually draining the life essence from wrestling. This isn't cool. And TNA was like, fuck this, you're not doing this anymore to us. So they pulled out of the deal. And I'm pretty sure New Japan wants to get out of the deal eventually, unless Tony Khan's over here like, no, here's $1 billion more. But with WWE, my thing is, man, a lot of people say, well, Triple H and WWE, and they're doing it for the right reasons. Let me explain this to y'all. TKO runs WWE. Not Bruce Pritchard, not Triple H, not Stephanie McMahon, Road Dogg, anybody that you throw out. They do not run WWE. WWE has become a corporate product beyond belief, and it's always been kind of a corporate product. I mean, if we go back 10 years, it was a corporate product. But there was a difference. There was. People want to sit here and say, well, no, it was more corporate back then than it is now. I call extreme bullshit on that. And again, you can have your opinion. But I disagree with it. I call bullshit because back then, it was still a wrestling show. They weren't plastering ads all over the mats, in the background, mascots everywhere, to where it becomes distracting. And I don't even know if I'm going to get into all that stuff right now, because I want to make a separate video talk about TKO one day, and I can get into all that for hours, talk about that shit, where I just think TKO doesn't give a fuck about wrestling. They don't. They only care about one thing, getting money from y'all. And y'all are giving them a lot of money right now. So, including me, I'm wearing a shirt. I'm wearing a WWE shirt. I love WWE. I love it. So even I give it money. Even I go out and I watch their stuff. I want to support WWE. But it is a very bad spot to be in as a fan, because we want to watch this. We want to support it. We want to give it a chance. But it feels like no matter what we do, it's always down to business. And everything has gotten so cheap in the company now. Shirts look cheap. Titantron, stage designs, everything seems real cheap right now. And a lot of the fans, including me, I'm a fan of WWE. I've been a fan of WWE since I was 5 years old. Been watching WWE for a very long time. I love WWE. But WWE is not what we know it as it was. It's not. It's just not. WWE, what was so cool about it was, no matter how shitty they were, they always put storylines first. It was always a show. It was a television show. It was a product. It was a program. It was there to entertain you. Were there shitty moments? Yeah. I remember the Dark Ages. I call it the Dark Ages. From like 2016 to 2021. Where it was just so unwatchably bad, and the creative was so shitty that I had to step away at a certain point and be like, okay, I'm done. I refuse to watch this. I kept up with the pay-per-views and stuff like that, but I stepped away from watching Raw, SmackDown pay-per-view, and NXT and shit. And it just got to a point where that time period was so creatively terrible that I stepped away. But here's the thing. At that time, at least WWE was its own thing. It was trying to tell you a story. It was trying to present characters. It was trying to be a show, entertainment. There were still storylines. Were they bad? Yes. But now, WWE feels a lot like AEW. Every passing moment, WWE is like slowly forming into AEW. And I can just see where storylines are going, and I can see where everything's heading. And it's like, I feel like I'm going crazy sometimes. I feel like I'm the only person to stand up and be like, guys, is this not concerning where things are going? We have celebrities wrestling in the matches all the time now. We have ads everywhere all the time now. We have barely any storylines. And honestly, people want to, and again, I'm glad people are happy. I'm glad there were people in 2017 who were happy, who were like, oh, I love this product. I'm like, good for you. But is there really anything like special going on in WWE right now? Like, the big storylines right now on the main roster, I don't really watch NXT that much these days because I don't really like they're taking that, and I don't have time for it. That's just too much wrestling for me. I ain't got time for a 3-hour Raw, 2-hour SmackDown, a 2-hour NXT, an NXT pay-per-view, a WWE pay-per-view, and then possibly another WWE pay-per-view. I don't have time for all that. That's a lot of wrestling. I commend y'all, whoever does that. Whoever watches that much wrestling, I commend you. Tip of the hat to you. But for me, I think that when it comes to this main roster product, I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what the big deal is. Most of these storylines are empty as fuck. Nothing's going on. Nothing special's going on. We got the Judgment Day stuff. Bro, I remember talking on here like a year ago, being like, the Judgment Day stuff is drug out. It's getting old. Move on. And here we are like almost a year later, and the Judgment Day stuff is still going on. The Bloodline stuff, they changed the name. It's My Family Tree now, but it's the same shit, different day. Same shit, different day. Let's bring in some random people from the indies who you're supposed to know because you're a wrestling fan and you should know who this guy is. You should know who Haktui Hikaloa, whatever this dude's name is, Haktui Man. You should know who that is. You should know who Jeff Cobb is. I don't even know his new name, JC Mateo or some shit. Jeff Cobb, though, is this guy that came in, and I'm over here like, who the fuck is Jeff Cobb? And people like, you don't know who he is? And WWE's like, you don't know who he is? I'm like, no, why should I care? Jeff Cobb has been in WWE for months, and they still have done nothing to make me care about this character. Like, they've been doing this a lot where they'll bring people in, hype them up, and you're supposed to care because they're from other companies. Who else did that? AEW did the same shit. But if AEW does it, then everybody jumps down their throats. That's when it's a problem. That's when it's, fuck that. They're ruining wrestling by doing that. But when WWE does it, it's genius. It's great. It's perfect. What else could you ask for? I just don't understand the fans. They switch up like that. John Cena is out here. If you want to say the main draw right now is John Cena, I guess business-wise you're right, because money-wise, ticket sale-wise, I'm not talking about money-wise. I'm talking about fucking wrestling quality-wise, storyline-wise, and entertainment-wise. It's been a dud. It's been a complete dud. John Cena, while he can cut really good promos right now, I am not invested in this heel character he's doing. All these matches I've seen so far, the Randy Orton match, the Cody Rhodes match where he beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, the match at Night of Champions, I'm pretty sure I'm missing the R-Truth match. Most of these matches I've seen from John Cena since WrestleMania and the one at WrestleMania have all been bad. They've all been slow, boring, And then, oh, it's slow and boring. Let's just throw everything we got at the very end of the match so people can go, oh my God, something happened. It must have been good. So I'm not a fan of what the John Cena stuff is going on, right? I'm just not. I think it's really bad. I think there's nothing to it. What's the story? What is the story? John Cena feels like he was in a toxic relationship and he feels betrayed. All right? That was 4 months ago that he said that. What has been the storyline since then? He had some stuff with Randy, a little bit with CM Punk. Cody's now going after him. And people are saying that Cody's going to turn heel and Cena's going to turn face because the fans right now, if you're a baby face, you get booed. If you're a heel, you get cheered. And if you try to be a heel, you get cheered even more. The fans turn their backs on Cody Rhodes. And I'm not going to sit here and say Cody Rhodes had a perfect title reign. He didn't. I had a lot of issues with this title reign. But that's when WWE Creative should step in and improve it and do better and fix the product. That's what they get paid for. These people, these writers from WWE, these producers, they get paid millions of dollars a year to do this shit. And supposedly, the writing's much more structured now. It's much more focused now. There's a strategy now. What the fuck is the storylines right now? You got some basic shit going on with Dominic and Roxanne, which I don't care about. You got Miz and Carmelo working together, which, whatever. The My Family Tree shit, I could give two fucks about. I don't care about that. It's a ripoff of the Bloodline. The Seth Rollins shit, I was excited for. After WrestleMania, that was one of the match, like that ending of that match was so iconic and so good that I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome moving forward. And then we got to, 5 months later? Basic ass promo, maybe not 5 months. That was probably 3 or 4 months ago. I'm over here fast forwarding time. It's already going fast enough. I don't need to go fast anymore. But Seth Rollins over here having basic promos, not saying much. Why is Paul Heyman there? Seth Rollins can cut promos. Why is Paul Heyman there? I mean, I get it, Roman could too, but for a while, Roman struggled with promos. So it makes a little bit more sense that, hey, Roman struggled for a bit, so let's put Paul Heyman with him just in case. But Seth Rollins, why is Paul Heyman there? And half the time, Paul Heyman is butting his way into storylines and becoming the main guy when you have Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in the background doing nothing, wearing suits and looking confused, like they don't know what they're doing. You have Bronson Reed, one of the most highest potential superstars, and he was someone that hated Seth Rollins. So how about this? We're bringing back Bronson Reed. How about this? How about we have him join Seth Rollins? That makes sense, even though 7 months ago he was feuding with Seth Rollins and tsunami'd him. But Nate, you can't hate it because he still doesn't like Seth Rollins. The twist of the story is that he's working with Seth Rollins to get closer to the title. All right, if that was done better, it could be interesting. But no, it's not done better because literally right after their fucking feud, it feels like they're back together. Or not back together, but they're together in this fucking faction. And I don't know what this faction's called. There's nothing special about it. It's very Bloodline ripoff-y. It feels very much like Bloodline Light. And I'm like, dude, how many times are we going to evolutionize this Bloodline storyline? Where now it's the My Family Tree shit, still Bloodline ripoff. And on Raw, guess what you got? A Bloodline ripoff. So you got a Bloodline ripoff and a Bloodline ripoff. What do you want? The promos from Seth have not been the best. I'm not invested in these storylines. That's my main problem with WWE right now. I'm not invested in really any of these storylines and anything that's going on, really. Nothing pulls me in, nothing's engaging, but yet I'm the crazy one. I'm the one people are saying, you don't understand it, you don't get it. Wrestling right now is at its best. And the main point of me making this video, which I want to get back to before I go 30 minutes on this topic, is the TNA shit. I did not watch Slammiversary. I don't watch TNA right now. I just don't have time for it. I would love to, but I don't have time for it, y'all. To me, I don't understand how people can sit there and say AEW did this and that and it's all wrong, but WWE doing this is fine. And I got people telling me that this is the peak era of TNA. This is the best TNA has ever been, and that this is going to do nothing but good things for TNA. Let me explain to you what's been happening. Trick Williams is the TNA World Champion. He's beaten Joe Hendry, I think twice, for that title, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I am. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I apologize. But he's beaten a decent amount of people and retained that title for a decent amount of time. And now we got AJ Styles and TNA. Which, I get it. He's a TNA guy, He was in TNA for many, 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 many years. So it makes sense to a point. To a point, it makes sense. And will I be fine with it? I will be if he goes to TNA. If he goes to TNA and decides to work there and help people get over and have one more hurrah, cool. If he goes to TNA and wins the world title and takes it from TNA and goes back to Raw and is on Raw with the TNA title for 7 months and does nothing with it except for the occasional, I gotta go back to TNA on the pay-per-views and defend it once in a while, and then I go back to Raw and focus on over here. Or maybe what they'll do is have, the first ever WWE main roster TNA crossover champion, where he becomes the IC champion from Dominic Mysterio, then he goes and wins the world title from TNA. First ever AJ Styles, which would be cool, but again, that's where I get to where I'm like, on paper it's cool, but it muddies the fucking waters. Because now you gotta have TNA or AJ working double time on both shows, defending this over here and defending it over here. I doubt he's gonna be doing all that all the time. And then it's like, okay, so who do you get to beat this guy now? Because he is now a double champion on both companies. Where do you go from there? And it gets just to where it's real muddy waters. Where it's like, okay, 1 minute he'll be on TNA feuding with somebody, then the next minute he'll be on Raw like 3 months later, and then spending less time on TNA. To me, I'm not a fan of that. I never have been. I wasn't a fan of the invasion angle with WWE and WCW. If ECW did it with WCW, I wouldn't have been a fan. If TNA does it, I wouldn't be a fan. I wouldn't be a fan. Because yes, concept-wise, on paper, it sounds amazing, right? Like, oh my God, we got TNA and we got WWE working together. This is going to be amazing, right? But then you really think about it, you're like, has this ever worked? Has it, like, in the history of wrestling, with all these crossovers, like, I remember in the 80s, it was AWA and was it Jim Crockett Promotions? Maybe it wasn't. I don't think it was. It was like AWA, and it may have been Memphis, Tennessee Wrestling or something like that. It was some crossover event they did with AWA and another wrestling company. It ended up being a huge disaster. Ended up costing AWA a lot of money and ended up being one of the major things that took them out of business. In the 2000s, 2001 or 2001, I think, the invasion angle happened. And ended up being one of the biggest failed storylines and angles of all time. It's just not going to work. It's too fucking much to do. And to me, I don't care what company it is. I don't care if it's New Japan coming into WWE. I don't care. It's too much. And they're already struggling with storylines as it is. Already, right now, as we speak, they are struggling with storylines, with character development, with simple fucking things. Is the wrestling good? Absolutely. at Night of Champions, Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez had the match of the night. It was great. Bad ending. I thought Raquel should have went over because for some reason right now they're just making it their mission to protect Rhea Ripley. But I just think that the wrestling is good. The wrestling is on point. There are amazing wrestling matches right now. But you need more than that. My voice cracked. You need more than that. There we go. We need more than that. We can't just thrive off of good wrestling matches. Once again, who else did that? AEW. AEW, that was their fucking calling card for years, was, well, they have good wrestling matches. You shouldn't complain because they have good wrestling matches. And I'm like, look, good wrestling matches is awesome, right? We all love a good athletic wrestling match. But if there's no character or storyline, or if the storylines suck ass, you're not going to really care about what's going on. And you have a lot of fan fatigue right now. WWE is running 3 pay-per-views a month on average. They're running Raw, NXT, SmackDown, all the in-between stuff, Evolve. There's rumors saying that they're going to turn AAA and NXT Mexico and make that another show. And there's rumors saying they're going to make another show during the week, like another show, like a third brand. There'd be like Raw, SmackDown, and this show. So there's so much going on. Fan fatigue is happening, and TKO is in debt right now. TKO is desperate for money, so they're going to make sure you're paying for your tickets, and they're over here charging thousands of dollars for tickets now. I went to Raw 2 years ago when they were in town, and I paid probably $70-$80 for my tickets, maybe 90. They were good seats though. I was on the floor, behind the commentary table, like 6 rows back. It was ironically the same night that Drew cut that promo where it's, instead of banga after banga, it's burger after burger. It was that show. I was at that show live. They were like 70, 80, maybe $90 for the seats I had. I checked this year, and it's like $200, $300, maybe more than that. It's in the hundreds now. And a lot of people are saying if you want to sit up front, it's like $9,000. And here's my thing. You want to charge people more, right? Okay. You got to do better. You can't sit here and charge people an arm and a fucking leg and the other leg and the other arm for a product as mediocre as it is. 2024 and 2025 are like mirrors. Mirror images of themselves. Opposite reflections. 2024 was one of the best years of WWE. 2025 has been one of the worst. It's gotten more corporate, less storyline driven, less character development, and honestly, last year, 2024, while I do think it was one of the best years of WWE, I still thought it had problems. I was still saying, man, they can work on character development. Man, they can work on, getting better at writing things. Man, they can work on, making things interesting a bit more, making maybe a bit more storylines. I still had those problems. They have just been exaggerated in 2025. They have been blown up to epic fucking proportion. Where now it's like, I don't even know what the fuck is interesting anymore. Like, The Rock came in and fucked up a lot of storylines. You have John Cena, who I was interested in that stuff at first. Just like Seth Rollins, I was interested in the John Cena stuff at first. But after a while, I'm like, man, these promos are just sound the same and pretty much nothing. There's no storyline here other than he hates the fans, and that's it. And the matches suck. They're terrible. The match at WrestleMania was probably the worst match of the year so far. It was garbage. It sucked. Him versus Randy Orton at Backlash was bad. It was like okay at best. But the ending ruined it. Night of Champions, the match was slow, boring. You could tell they struggled to really have the match. And then, oh, it's the ending. Throw everything at the screen. Are you entertained yet? That's what it feels like. Then you have them doing people dirty. You got them firing people who are massively talented. And I get it, firings have always happened, and they always will. That'll never change. But you have people on the roster who are doing nothing, but then you fire people who are doing things, who are future stars with potential, who you did nothing with and gave no opportunities to, but you keep around people who are doing nothing. I don't get it. That doesn't make sense to me at all. Look at what Karrion Kross has had to go through. That man has had to walk through the pits of hell to get matches on Raw. And he's finally now starting to get stuff done to where he can go on Raw and go on pay-per-views and stuff. Just now. But this man has been over for months. And they were putting him on main event. This man was losing to, who did he lose to? Akira Tozawa or some shit on main event? Karrion Kross, 2 months ago, I think, lost to like Akira Tozawa on main event. And then I think he lost after that. And then he was gone again. Like, that's what I mean. They waste potential. And the TNA thing is just, it's to me, it's a bad thing that's happening where I feel like TKO is going to want to own all this shit, is where I'm getting to. My point. I think TNA. Yeah, well, TNA is a victim too. But I think TKO eventually will buy TNA. They're going to try and get it propped up, get it, looking good, get the ratings up a bit, and then buy it. That's my theory. Maybe it won't happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen. I don't want it to happen. I want TNA to thrive on its own. And if WWE wants to help them, cool. If WWE wants to give them money, cool. But right now, WWE is sending WWE guys over and be like, all right, we're going to take your world title, and then we're going to eventually put AJ over there and do stuff. What's next? You're having TNA guys come over to WWE and lose. Like, I don't see how this is good. Maybe it will be. Will it be? Hopefully. I hope for the best. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I want TNA to thrive. I want this to be a good deal. But I know this. TKO doesn't care about any of that. TKO is like, look, if we can get AAA and TNA and New Japan and all these companies, if we can buy all these companies and make them a part of us and make them make money for us, then awesome. Because they have to. Because while Raw is doing really well on Netflix, it's not profiting and doing the big numbers that they thought it was going to do. A lot of the attendance right now is like this. There's times where it's really high and really low. So I think with a combination of things where, like, the economy, the shape it's in right now, a lot of people are struggling to go to these shows and pay for things because of just where everything's at right now. But I also think a lot of fans are just starting to realize this stuff it's not interesting anymore. You can't drag out shit forever. You can't. That is Triple H's go-to thing, is let's just drag it out. Everything. Let's drag this out. And then the fucking things that should end in 10 minutes, they end in like 6 months. And then the things that you should drag out, you end in 10 minutes. It's happened so many times. So many times, man. I just don't think the TNA thing is going to work. Because I think TKO is going to prop them up and then take them. And then, okay, we're going to send WWE guys over. And then occasionally we'll have TNA win. We can't dominate they're not going to just dominate TNA. But I think it will be one of those things where it's just going to benefit NXT. It's going to benefit WWE. I don't really see TKO going, yeah, let's have them come over and beat a lot of our guys. Like, why would they do that? They have more money, more resources, and more assets than TNA does right now. So, obviously, they're going to use TNA to get their guys over. It's kind of obvious to me. AEW did it. So many companies have done it. So many. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just don't understand the double standard with the fans sometimes. Where if AEW did this shit, it's bad. If WWE does it, it's good. And then like Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is another thing I want to get into. Because I do think his run wasn't as good as it could have been. I think it was a bit of everybody's fault. I think it was booking's fault. I do think it was a bit of Cody's fault. I think it was the fans' fault. I think there was a lot of people that just instantly gave up on Cody Rhodes as soon as John Cena came into the picture. And for a while, fans were liking Cody Rhodes. But then all of a sudden, it's different now. Now we're going to boo Cody Rhodes and whatever. Now he's going to turn heel. And when he turns heel, people are going to cheer him. I'm just getting, and that I get it. You can't control the fans like all the time. Like they're going to do what they want. But I'm just like, I just don't understand what wrestling fans want anymore. They want to complain when other companies do shit like that with TNA, but then they want to be like, oh, this is great when WWE does it. They want to complain when other companies don't focus on storylines, but then they want to praise WWE by saying, and I hear these people saying like, oh, we'll give it 6 months. It'll get better in 6 months. Why should I wait 6 months for it to possibly get better? What kind of half-ass excuse is that? What is that? Oh, maybe in a year it'll be better. What? My friend, you are in denial. You are in denial and wake up. I don't want to sound too rude because, again, people are, they can have their opinions, man. And I'm not here to say people can't enjoy something and have fun. But, man, have some logic to it. Have some logic to it. For example, everybody's fine with Cena coming in, taking the title from younger guy, getting his title reign. People are fine with, Goldberg coming in and doing that. People are fine with, if Trish did it, people would be fine with it. All these legends coming back and winning things and beating young talent. Now it's fine. But 6 years ago, what the fuck? Why are old people coming back and beating young talent? I don't want to ever hear that again from some of these fans. Some of these fans, I don't want to hear that again, that complaint of, oh, I want young talent to get put over. Why are they not putting over young talent? But then you cheer Goldberg to do that. I don't get that either. A lot of this video is me venting of like, I don't understand what wrestling fans want anymore. I don't know if it's just me and there's just a big disconnect. Obviously there is, but I don't understand how you can watch WWE's product right now and say there's nothing wrong with it. It's great. It's never been better. WWE is peak right now. It's doing amazing. No complaints. It's great. I don't understand how you can say that. You can have that opinion. I don't understand that opinion. I don't understand how you can look at this show and be like, it's fine. I wouldn't fix anything. And I just think WWE is just being so lazy right now. They're being so cheap. The music sucks. The Titantrons suck. The storylines suck. They're barely trying to get people over. This dude, I almost said JD McDonough. This dude, Jeff Cobb, JC Mateo. That is pretty similar to JD McDonough. JD McDonough, JC Mateo. They're kind of similar names. But Jeff Cobb, he's been here for all these months, and you've done absolutely nothing with him. Rusev has been here for a while. He's doing something with Sheamus, and it's decent, but it took a while for it to happen. Karrion Kross, for the longest time, was not being used. Until now. Sami Zayn is popping up in these storylines, and I'm so sick and tired of Sami Zayn. I used to be a huge fan of Sami Zayn. I really did. I was a big fan of Sami Zayn. But man, here lately, it's just with a combination of his fucking promos and his character and how his character does the same thing every single time, where you're doing the wrong thing. You need to start thinking about things. You need to start being a better person. Like, what the fuck? It's the same thing with his character. Every single time. It's boring. And like, him as champion, IC champion, when he was champion, it was terrible. I'm tired of seeing Sami Zayn, man. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not. His promos now are all the same. His matches are pretty decent, but they're not great right now. The man looks out of shape. The man looks like a mess. I just don't get it. I just don't get it personally. I don't get it. The Seth Rollins stuff has been massively disappointing. The Judgment Day stuff is very boring and drawn out. I don't care about any of that. These new guys they've been bringing in, they're not really doing anything with them. This Haktui, whatever the dude's name is, Loa, Haktui Loa, Hickalo Loa. I know his name's Hickalo Loa, but Haktui Loa, like this dude, this 7 foot tall dude walking in out of nowhere and having no character, looking like just some jobber they got from somewhere, some generic wrestler. Generic wrestler number 10 is this guy. And then meanwhile, you got Tonga Loa, the worst part of that tag team, Tonga Loa, and then you got Jeff Corncob. Jeff the Corncob man. Corny Jeff. You got Jeff Corncob, who is like a cheap Rhino. It's like a cheap knockoff Timu Rhino. He's not intimidating. None of these people are intimidating. Solo Sikoa is... I want to like what Solo Sikoa is doing. I do. He's not doing his worst work. But I do think that having him in that faction, it's not doing anything. What is it really doing? I don't think it's really doing anything for him. I think where the money's at is him and Jacob Fatu having a rivalry. That's where the money's at. Why he's in this whole Bloodline faction? Because the Bloodline sold. The Bloodline sold, so we gotta do another Bloodline thing. And the thing is, back in the day, when a faction would end, they would make other factions to try. Did they always work? Not always. But back in the day, they did that. They would try to create a bit. They had the creative team of writers that tried to create a bit, to be a bit creative, to make something new. New stars, new storylines, new ideas, new theme songs, new graphics and designs, all that stuff. Versus now, I can't tell you how many times I'm watching WWE product these days, and I'm like, that's just like last year's storyline. Or, that's a repeat of 2 years ago's storyline. And I understand that that's happened all the time, but I've never noticed it so obviously until now. Where I'm like, dude, they are blatantly just recycling stuff from other years. They are being so lazy. And everybody's just fine with it. For a while they were. I mean, a lot of people now, I think, are starting to see, like, okay, yeah, it's not perfect. WWE needs to start changing some things. And I agree. I think people are finally starting to see that. But there are also still a lot of people who are like, this is perfect, fine. TNA is the best it's ever been. And I'm like, have you even watched TNA till now? Some of these people, I'm like, have you even, like, how do you know TNA is at its best right now? You didn't even watch it until now. Or AAA. You didn't even watch it till now. How do you know it's at its peak? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I know, because I haven't been watching TNA either, but these people are just coming out of the woodwork now and be like, oh, TNA is great now. Where the fuck were you 2 years ago? Like, the hell? Makes no sense to me, man. Makes no sense to me. Now, if you're a fan who just loves where the product's at, and you're excited to see where it goes, and you're excited for the crossover, and you're excited for, you know, if you genuinely like this stuff, that's fine. But what I'm talking about is these people who, like, I don't know, they switch up. They're like pick and choose, cherry picking shit. Where, oh, this person, this company did it, fuck them. Oh, WWE did it, hell yeah. That's the shit I'm talking about, where I'm like, that makes no sense. What you just said makes no sense. That is blatantly a double standard. Blatantly. Look at it. Compare. It's the same fucking thing. Now, yes, has WWE gone into TNA and taken all their titles like AEW did? No. But what I'm saying is, it's been months since the deals happened, and look at what has happened. A lot of guys from TNA are losing on WWE. A lot of guys in TNA are holding their own titles. In the tag team division, I know everybody's excited for that match, the Hardys versus the Dudleys, and I am too. I am excited for that match. I am. But we do got to talk about how it's two older teams facing for the TNA titles. And again, I'm not really hating on that, but I am wanting to point that out because a lot of people, like, again, 5 years ago would have been like, oh my God, it's terrible. But now it's, oh, it's the best. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, do I want the match to happen? Of course. Do I think it should be for the TNA tag titles? It's debatable. TNA has a stacked tag team roster of young talent that they could give those titles to. And ever since the Hardys has went there, they've been tag champions. And I haven't watched the matches. I'm not going to sit here and say the matches are bad. But I'm just saying they've been tag champions for a long time in TNA. And that this match is like, again, if this was 5 years ago, people would be hating this. Like, what, we're getting this? Why? There's young talent here. Why are we doing this? But this time it's fine. People love it. It's the best ever. I just wanted to get on here and vent, man, because I don't understand it. I don't understand why the fans are switching up right now and everybody's acting like WWE. Well, not everybody. A lot of people are acting like WWE's untouchable right now and you can't say anything about it. I literally heard some people say that, oh, the time between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, oh, that's filler. That's filler. Don't even worry about it. It doesn't really matter. It's filler. And I'm like, listen to this, and I'm like, what the fuck, like, kind of explanation is that? Like, I don't know. I was like, what the fuck? Imagine that saying, like, well, season 2 through season 5 is filler, so don't even worry about it. And I've had people do that to me, too, where it's like, oh, this TV show, skip all the filler. And I'm like, that's 300 episodes that you want me to skip. What? Like, that's happened too. But like with WWE, man, look, I'm a fan of WWE. That's why I'm trying to keep it real. And I'll be honest on here. Because every time, like, you can go back to my old WWE videos back in 2016 where I was like, this shit sucks. Because it does. And I think a lot of people either want to desperately cling on to that product so bad and be like, no, it's good. No matter what, it's good. Or people they're just switching up. And maybe one day they'll be turning their back on WWE again because of the new hip thing. That's the thing. Some of these fans, they weren't even watching WWE for a while. They were off watching other wrestling companies, and all of a sudden WWE got big again, and they came back, and now they're like, well, other companies suck. They're all trash. WWE's cool. And I'm like, dude, like, where did this come from? I don't know, man. There's a lot of things going on with WWE that I don't like. To me, right now, WWE is so boring. It is so uninteresting. The storylines, they're shitty if they're there, and there's barely any, and there's really not any character development going on. They build everything to the same fucking shows every year. It's either SummerSlam, Mania, or War Games. Always. It's always, let's build those shows up, let's build everything to those pay-per-views, and it gets really predictable really fast. So I'm getting tired of that. The spontaneity in wrestling is gone, the surprise factor. And they just need to get back on track with writing again. Writing, characters. You got the wrestling down. The wrestling is fantastic right now. I'm not going to complain about that. The wrestling, the athletes, that is on point. Everything else is a mess right now. Storylines, characters, big angles, surprise factor, hype factor, making things feel special. Everything, it just intrigue. It's all like everything else needs to be worked on desperately right now. And no, TNA and WWE's thing is not good. It's not, in my opinion. Because if down the road, what are we going to say if some WWE guy comes in and wins the title again? It's like, well, a TNA guy could beat him for the title. What if a WWE guy beats him for the title? What if more WWE guys come over and join TNA and just start winning? What are we going to say then? Again, do I hope it doesn't happen? Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope that all it is WWE trying to help TNA. But that's in a perfect world, and I don't think that's what's going on here. I think it's like, okay, as long as we get our guys over, we'll make them look good occasionally. We can't bury them too much, because then where's the value in that? Think about it. Where's the value if you have them just squash TNA all the time? The value is building up TNA and then taking it. Build them up and then have WWE take advantage of that. Just saying, that's where I see it going, sadly. I wish it wasn't going there. I wish it wasn't what's going on, but I have a feeling that's what it's going to be. I don't want it to be, man. I love WWE. I'm a fan of WWE. I'm a true fan that I can get on here and be honest. When it's good, it's good. I'm not a big Pat McAfee guy, but I'm just going to give you an example of I can admit when something's good. I'm not a big Pat McAfee guy, but him versus Gunther at Backlash was one of my favorite matches of the year so far, surprisingly enough. And it wasn't because of fantastic wrestling or it had the best build or it was because it had the best moves. It was because of the emotion in the match. They told a story in the ring. Pat McAfee didn't do half bad, and it did make Gunther look good. It accomplished some things. I'm not a big fan of Pat McAfee. I'm not. I'm just not. Not a big fan. But I can admit that was a great match. One of my favorite matches of the year so far. WWE does do good things occasionally. And do I expect perfection? Hell no, man. I don't. I expect to be entertained. I expect to have decent stuff. And to me right now, what's the point? Maybe somebody out there can explain to me, what is the point of watching it right now? What is interesting? The Cody Rhodes shit is boring. The John Cena shit is terrible. The Bloodline ripoffs are all garbage. Promos are mid right now at best. Storylines are dried up and not going anywhere. Things are still being dragged out from the last video I made from almost a year ago, where I said the same things back then. I'm like, the Judgment Day, Bloodline, blase needs to get fucking stopped, and we need new things. Same shit still happening. Rhea Ripley still having to be put over all the time. Like, the same problems. Except now it's even more boring, it's even more old, and it feels like WWE is doing less storylines, less new things. It's more like, oh, just go out there and wrestle. Just go out there and wrestle, and that's it. And I'm like, what's the point of that? What's the point? Like, I don't know, man. I will continue to try and watch WWE. Of course I will. I'm a fan. I'm not just going to walk away completely. But it's just difficult, man. I'll say this, man, another positive. The Worlds Collide show, probably the best show of the year so far. The stage at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, the best stage of the year. I mean, oh my God, that show looked beautiful. Like, I'll say that I wasn't a big fan of Night of Champions. I thought it was really mid. But the best looking show of the year was at Saudi. I mean, a beautiful fucking stage. Beautiful presentation. Beautiful look. Same with like Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide looked great. And so did Night of Champions. Night of Champions looked wonderful. So is there good things? Yes, but there's also a lot of fuckery going on right now. There's a lot of just BS things happening, corporate shit, politics going on in the company. They did R-Truth dirty for a while there, and now they want to claim it's all storyline. They Triple H and other people want to get on and say it's the internet fans. They're the problem. We don't give a shit about the internet fans. Pretty much, I'm not quoting them, but like pretty much that's the vibe that I get from most of these people that talk about the fans that disagree with them, because if you disagree with them, that can't happen. And like I've made the comparison from WWE. I compare them to McDonald's, man. They're McDonald's right now, where they could be making you a halfway decent meal. Not a fantastic meal. I'm not asking for fucking the best steak and the best wine and the best this and that. I'm asking for a decent meal. Maybe some chicken, mashed potatoes, some green beans, stuff like that. A little bit of variety. Maybe a dessert after. But WWE's like, here's your cheeseburger. Here's a cheeseburger. Here's a cheeseburger. Maybe once in a while, here's a chicken sandwich. They're like McDonald's. It's all about production. How fast can we do this shit? How many pay-per-views can we pump out? How many times can we do a show? How much money can we make? Numbers, numbers, numbers. It's McDonald's. It's Disney. It's shit like that. It's corporate fucking numbers is all it is. It's just about the numbers. And I get it. Wrestling's always been about the numbers. Ever since the beginning of professional wrestling, it's been about the numbers. But it's also been about storytelling, entertainment, characters, world building, believability, athleticism, competition, all that stuff. And now we've lost a lot of it. Where it's like we got good athletes, we got good wrestling. Occasionally we'll get a good storyline. But most of it's like forgettable. You're not going to remember in like 5 years. Like this year has been really forgettable so far. And again, like I know I sound negative. I don't want to be, but I got to be honest. It's just to me extremely mid right now. It's not absolute garbage, but here's the thing, man. Would you rather have a show that is memorably bad, like memorably garbage, like garbage that you can look at and go, oh my God, that was terrible, but man, wasn't that something? Wasn't that crazy? Or would you have a show that's painfully mid and forgettable and boring and dragging and just a nothing sandwich? I don't know, man. I often ask myself, what would I rather want? Would I want forgettable shit, or would I want something that's so bad it's good, or so bad it's memorable at least? I don't know, man. I know one thing. If WWE is expecting people to dedicate more money, more time, more effort into their products, then they should be putting more effort into the products. Because right now, the level of where they're at with their product is ridiculous. Ridiculous to me, where it's at. Because you got people out there who are dropping thousands of dollars. Like, think about it. You got to pay for a flight out to, let's say, Vegas for WrestleMania. Thousands while you're there. You're going to stay in Vegas for probably the weekend. So you're going to be paying hundreds of dollars with that. If you got good seats at WrestleMania, it's thousands of dollars. Then you got to go to the after shows. Then you have to go to the NXT shows if they have them there. You have to go to all these different shows. Thousands upon thousands of dollars WWE's making off these people. And to me, they're not giving them a good product. They're not giving them, they're giving them bare minimum. Mediocre shit is what it is. And I have no idea what I'm going to call this video. Because I know I want it to be mainly about the TNA shit, but that's gotten lost in the shuffle. I mean, it's there, but it's been a lot in this video. I guess what I wanted to get across is that, I don't understand pro wrestling right now. I don't get it. I don't get why this is the best ever right now. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe somebody out there can explain to me what's going on and why it's so good. Because to me, it's mediocre, forgettable, and I can't believe they're charging people more money now than they did years ago when they gave us more shit back then. At least it felt like it to me. But even when you compare it to like 2018, there was more shit going on. But now, you just have a lot of people who I don't really care about. Like, for instance, I was really hyped when the Wyatt 6 debuted. I got a t-shirt, I watched the debut, it was cool, I liked it. Then they disappeared for a while. And now they're tag champions because they gotta do something with them. But I don't really care. Like, does anybody out there really care about that? Like, I'm asking an honest question. Does anybody really care about the mid card division right now or the tag division? As I don't really see what the point is. Like, to me, the mid card division right now is dead in the fucking water. The tag division is barely above water, but it's just really forgettable, man. Forgettable. And again, the word I would describe WWE with today, right now, as of this recording date, is mediocre. It's mediocre. It's decent stuff occasionally, good wrestling matches, but other than that, I got nothing. There's no emotion. There's no storytelling. It's reminded me of AEW. So, anyways, this is just a video where I wanted to get on here and whine and complain for a little bit. So, if you guys feel the same way as me, just, let me know in the comments below. If you don't, let me know as well. I just want to hear your thoughts on WWE right now. Where do you guys think it's going? Am I missing something here? Is it just me? Or maybe y'all can see it too. But anyways, guys, if you've made it this far into the video, I didn't mean to go for an hour, but my God, man, I had a lot on my chest to get off. And there's a lot of other things we want to talk about with WWE as well, but we'd be here for like 5 hours with that shit. But anyways, y'all, thanks for letting me vent. Thanks for checking out the video. I appreciate your guys' support, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Your boy Grief is out of here. Peace.